I think the takeaway for anyone listening who is suffering in a toxic relationship, whether it's alcohol or a person or a job or anything else, find a way. Don't wait. Don't waste 25 years. Don't waste another minute. Find a way to get that out of your life, or fill your life with other positives to at least negate the negative. Don't just stay and suffer in it.
There are times when life just brings you down, 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 down to the ground. And it's hard when you can't see the light, 'cause things don't look so bright. So now it's time to reframe and retrain your brain. It's time to look for the good. You know that you should. Why don't you join me? 'Cause I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. Oh, oh, oh. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine.
I'm Karaleigh Garrison, a singer-songwriter, motivational speaker, and your host of the Seeking Sunshine podcast, where we find the positive in the trials of life. I created this podcast because I believe really deeply that we can learn from one another's stories and experiences. I'm willing to bet that just about all of us have been through some really, really tough things. And not only is it therapeutic for us to be able to talk about these darkest times in our lives, but the lessons that we've learned and the resilience we've shown can help everyone around us weather their own storms from higher ground. On the Seeking Sunshine podcast, we don't shy away from difficulty and trauma, but we always look for the sunshine in it. It's my personal belief that there are blessings in every trial and trials in every blessing. I use this Seeking Sunshine mantra every single day to change my perspective when things start going wrong and getting frustrating, which they often do because I have 3 kids with special needs. And I can tell you that it has transformed my life. And I hope, and that's the whole point of this podcast, that it can transform your life too. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Seeking Sunshine podcast. I hope you guys have had such an amazing summer. Although if you are like me, you are so anxious for it to be fall. Fall means that my kids are back in school. I am counting down the days. Super excited. We are doing back to school nights this week. We are doing meet the teacher stuff. We are super duper excited. I don't know about you guys. Even my kids are excited, by the way. We are looking forward to summer break ending and getting back into the routine of things. As much as we love sleeping in, my kids are super duper excited. We've got 2 of them this year that are riding the bus, and they are just over the moon. So you have to let me know, do your kids like riding the bus or do they hate it? Because I've got 2 of mine who are just like so excited that they get to ride the bus. They've been begging me to ride the school bus for years and years and years, and finally they get to ride the bus and they are so excited. I feel like that's a little weird, but they're really excited to get up super duper early this coming year to ride the school bus. I don't know. And actually they're riding 2 different school buses, which is going to be really fun for me, but that's all right. It means less driving and I'm going to be grateful for it. So that's what's going on over here. Plus I have so much going on. Let's see. I've been redoing my website, which I'm super excited about, guys, which first of all, I'm redoing it myself, which if you have ever done that, you know it's a super duper nightmare. It is a beast and a half, but it's going to be gorgeous when it's done. So if you go check it right now, you might see some really funny stuff going on in there. So, everyone quick, run, go, look at it. But it's under construction, and it's gonna be gorgeous when it's done. And there's some really cool, amazing things up there right now. Like I just put up a speaker reel, which I'm really excited for, as I'm in the process of kind of launching my keynote concert speaker business, which is going to be so much fun. I'm really excited to jump into doing in-person speaking events. So that's really fun. If you want to go check that out, it's on my social media pages too. And it's a really cool little 4-minute speaker video. So that's really fun. It's on my website, which is karaleigh.com. And it's really been a fun project to kind of put this all together and figure out how to make it look really fun. So that's something that's fun to check out. Tell me what you have going on in your life, because I know that I'm not the only one who's losing my mind with kiddos. I know I'm not the only one who has really fun projects going on. And without, further ado, I could keep just chatting with you forever, because I feel like I don't get to do that enough, because we just go from me saying hello to our guests really quick, because I usually record this intro super late at night on Monday before this comes out really early Tuesday morning. And I miss the opportunity to just chat with people, but I could go on forever. So instead of doing that, I enjoy talking with you guys, and I would love it if you guys would talk back to me, pretty please. Comment on this somehow. I don't know, leave me a review or go on my social media pages. I love to hear from you guys. Comment on one of the reels or the pictures that I put out, or I don't know, send me an email or something. I've got like a bunch of email addresses. There's the custom song email address. There's the keynote. I don't know. There's a bunch of things. Contact me somehow. I'm not hard to find. Anyways, I won't keep going. I'm going to introduce our guest, because let me tell you about this guest. I recorded this episode back at the end of January, and as I went to go through this episode, I was like, what is, it's been a while since I've gone through and listened to this, and what I've been doing is I've been going through and pulling out like little, 30 to 60 second real like audio clips so that I can post them on my social media. And this episode, guys, I swear to you, I like basically pulled out the entire episode. Like, that's how good this episode is. Like, every second of it is just dripping with gold. It is so good. She is so brilliant. She has so much amazing stuff to say. You're just going to adore every single second of this interview. It is so incredible. I had such a hard time narrowing it down, just because I know myself, and I've been doing this long enough that I'm like, my life is utter insanity. And when I first started, I was doing like 10 plus like posts, and at some days I would like double up, and now I'm like, okay, one a day is how many I can handle. So I'm like 7 quotes, 7 reels. I can't do more than that because I will forget. And anyway, so limiting this episode down to 7 quotes and 7 like real audio clips was so hard, because there are so many brilliant things that are said in this episode. So be sure to listen to the whole thing, because there's so much amazingness that just I couldn't pull out for social media, because there was just so much amazingness in it. So today's episode, we have this gorgeous, joyous, amazing guest. Her name is Janet White. She's a registered nurse, a certified positive psychology coach, and an author who has spent decades in healthcare administration, coaching, mentoring, and leading teams. Her self-development journey led her to realize that her favorite part of her healthcare roles was actually the ability to build relationships and coach and mentor people. She loves sharing her passion for living a happy, healthy, alcohol-free lifestyle. Her story includes a long-term abusive married, I am reading this. I try to make it sound really natural, but sometimes I get tongue-tied. So sorry. Her story includes a long-term abusive relationship. She was married for 25 years, guys. Like, it was a big deal. She had cancer, she had self-esteem and body issues, she went through grief, and she turned it all around, which is so impressive, is so amazing. And today she empowers women and men to be the best versions of themselves. Janet White, you are so impressive. You are so freaking incredible. And I so adore this episode. This is hands down one of my most favorite episodes. You're going to love it. Take a listen. Hi, Janet. I'm so excited to have you today on the Seeking Sunshine podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited for this conversation. I feel like we're going to just learn so much from you. So let's dive in. I want to hear your story and how you come to do all the amazing things that you're doing right now.
Well, it's always a journey, isn't it? I mean,
It
we learn from the things that happen to us, and we grow and we develop. So it's kind of hard not to start a little bit at the beginning. But I married young, and I was at 19 when I got married, and I probably already had some self-esteem issues. I think we all tend to struggle a little bit with that.
Especially
But
at that age. That's a
yeah.
really big age for self-esteem issues.
Yeah. So but the guy that I married was a perfect narcissist, and he really honed in on all of my insecurities. And we ended up being together married for 25 years. It became very abusive, very toxic. I think looking back, it's always hindsight's 2020, isn't it?
Oh
What
yeah.
in the world? Why in the world would I stay in something like that so long? I can't even recognize it sometimes.
It's because change is
But
so hard. Change
yeah,
is hard, and we get comfortable even with negativity. We get comfortable with pain, and then we feel like it's going to be more painful to get out of it. So we kind of stay in there.
yeah, it was kind of like the frog in the pot,
Yeah. Mhm.
You jump in and you don't even realize, and the heat keeps turning up, and the next thing you know, had a beautiful daughter. And anyway, finally did get out of that marriage. It was very, again, abusive and toxic, and that is when my self-development journey started. I had to figure out who I was and what I liked. I had been kind of focused on keeping the peace and doing what he wanted, and now I had an opportunity to actually discover what I wanted. Unfortunately, alcohol became, my companion, because it was the trauma of the stress of leaving and all the things that happened. So,
Because
and it
you
was
were
kind of,
you were in
yeah,
pain, and you were looking
yep,
for a way out of pain. And
abs-
that's how, all addictions start. It's somebody's in a massive amount of pain, and they're looking for any kind of relief that they can get.
yeah. And so became kind of my new best friend, and I enjoyed partying and having fun and all the freedom that I had now, the newfound freedom. But as I got older and kept, enjoying the party life, I realized that it just wasn't serving me. Um, and I'm obviously going pretty quick in my story, but the catalyst, I guess, was when my granddaughter was born. And I said, wow, I want to live a long time. I don't want to be unhealthy. And so I decided to quit drinking. And that's never an easy task either, when you are hooked on something. And I never had a rock bottom or anything like that, but it was a nightly habit to have a couple glasses of wine to unwind, I thought. And stopping that was challenging. So once I finally got off of the alcohol, I began my self-development journey to figure out what I wanted to do. I mean, I had to go through the raw emotions, not medicating, not numbing out with the alcohol. I had to deal with the PSTD from my marriage. I had to deal with the grief of, losing my mom, my cancer journey, all the things that I had been through, all the baggage. The raw emotions were there because I hadn't really processed them. And it took me a long time to get through that. But once I did, I came out on the other side into the sunshine. And I am so happy to be on this side of all of that. Now, not that my life's perfect, obviously, everybody has, but I am so grateful today that I am able to share my message. I wrote a book about kind of like my life and then my journey through alcohol. I do coaching, I do group coaching, I speak, I do those things because my story sometimes resonates with people, and that's what I enjoy. So I'm happy to be where I'm at today.
That's beautiful. I love how much joy you have found. I feel like the joy is found in the comparison, right? It's like when you know how the darkness really feels, then it's easy to really enjoy the light.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that um being stifled and shut down and in that place of control, of negativity, of all those things, and then escaping into something that is not healthy either. It took me, it was just a process. And so now I guess it's easier to look back at it, but it was very difficult to look back at it even right out and years later.
Yeah. So I'm curious if your cancer journey happened while you were married or if it happened after.
It happened after, and I want to say I'm so thankful because I had great caregivers and a great support system. I can't imagine what would have happened to me and how I would have handled that cancer journey if I had been with him. So I wouldn't have had the care and support and the love that I had. I do say, though, I really believe that living in that chronic stress, it sets us up. It sets our body up for cancer. I'm a registered nurse, and I'm a wellness health coach, a positive psychology coach, alcohol-free coach, all those things. And it's all about health and happiness and treating yourself and putting yourself first and doing things for yourself. We only get this one life, we can't, and I feel like I wasted, or not really wasted, but I didn't live my best life for all that time. I don't have a minute to waste. um,
Yeah, none of us do.
yeah, and I think though that stress and living like that in unhealthy, unhappy, negative situations really can. Stress is a huge cause and agent of so many diseases.
Oh yeah, cortisol causes inflammation, which causes all the diseases.
Yeah.
And stress releases that cortisol, and maybe you can help me understand something, because I was told recently that somebody who so I have 3 kids that are special needs, and my husband's been disabled for a while, so I in a different way I understand the constant stress and how that can affect you and your body. And then somebody was telling me that somebody who has really high stress consistently would actually have low cortisol because their body's not producing it, because they're so used to it. And so their body's not reacting as it should in a stressful situation. So is that true? And can you explain that to me? So I'm just
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that works, to be
okay.
honest with you. I know that there is a condition, and the hormones in the body do have to adapt. So
Yeah.
it's possible that is true, but typically the body just responds in so many different ways to the stress. You mentioned inflammation. I mean, think about all the illnesses that we suffer today, our IBS and migraines, and there's so many things that they're real. They're painful, they're horrible diseases, but a lot of times the stress that we put ourselves under help make these even worse and can lead to cancer. And I know that that's one of the things that the oncologist said right off, that I said, well, I'm not really in the risk factor. I don't understand how I could have gotten this. And he said, well, chronic stress, da, 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 da. And I think so many of us live in it that we don't even think about it.
Oh, for sure. It's very prevalent in our culture, and it's expected in
Yeah.
our culture, which is why it's such a big problem, is that like we are conditioned to be go, go, go all the time,
Yep.
do more, do
Yep.
more, don't rest. If you rest, it's selfish. If you de-stress, it's selfish. Like you constantly have to be on, on. And it's so dangerous for our health to embrace that mindset that is so prevalent in our culture. I'm a self-care coach for burnt out moms because I know how dangerous it is to not care for our bodies and how much it compromises how we're able to care for those we love when we aren't first taking care of our own minds and our own stress level and our own bodies and physical wellness, which is
It's
exactly
so
what.
hard when you have little kids. I mean, I see my daughter. My hat goes off to you because it is so difficult. And women, I think in general, tend to take on the nurture role for so many. And here I am, I'm at 60 now. But if you think about your younger years where you have your kids, you have your career, you have your husband, you have your community, then your parents start aging. A lot of you take care. And there's just so much. And of course, it all packs on. And what do? We put ourselves last. So we're the bottom of the rung. The kids come first, the husband, the blah, 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 everybody. And that's where we end up in all these conditions. I worked a very, very stressful job as a healthcare executive for many years. I tried to climb the ladder and, get all the letters behind my name and all that. And at some point, I guess it was actually at the pandemic, it was after I had quit drinking, I just said, what am I doing? Why am I pushing myself so hard to work all these hours, to be so stressed out? And, I completely changed my direction. And it's almost like you said, it's frowned upon. What is the matter with you? Are you lazy? Why would you leave that lucrative job with all the benefits here? You don't even, you're struggling for decent health insurance now. You're not, I mean, it's like our society only respects lots of work, lots of hours, busy, kids in 12 activities, take them to 15 different places. I mean, that's what's healthy. I mean, that's what we're expected to do. And when you step outside of that and actually start taking care of yourself, actually start saying no to things, putting yourself first, if you will, people don't understand it.
Oh yeah, and it's so funny because it turns out happiness does not live in busy.
Yeah.
Happiness does not live in the accolades and the doing and the shoulds. Happiness lives in the peace and the quiet. Happiness lives in doing what you can handle and not going overboard. So I love how you talked about finding sunshine in the pandemic and like shifting your whole perspective on life. It's been funny how I've interviewed people and I've seen so many people who have looked at, COVID was this thing that like took over the world
Right.
in this very negative way. And everybody was just like, this is the end of the world. This is the worst thing that's ever happened. And I suppose that I should be thankful because my 2018 I've been married for 14 years and we've had 2 years that were just like the worst. Those were 2013 and 2018. And so having just gotten off of a year where the world crumbled around me,
Mm.
and then going into the pandemic from that perspective, I was like, you know, wait, we have to stay home. That's the worst. That's what's so bad about this is that we have to stay home. And like we didn't get COVID for another couple years, and when we did, it was like a weekend of sitting home feeling sick. Not that so many people experience like really awful deaths in with loved ones and such, and
Yeah.
that was really awful, and they experienced like job loss and really life-changing things during that time. But for me personally, it was like restful. Like it was like, oh, this is a little bit like, yeah, it has its challenges, but I've been through so much worse that I have maybe a different perspective. And so I love how you're able to see the sunshine in that hard time. So I'd love for you to talk about that and how that shift happened when the world was shutting down and feeling so negative.
Yeah, again, I was at that point in my self-development journey. I had gotten alcohol out of the way and I was enjoying my life and I was starting to ask, what do I want to do? I wanted to be healthier. I wanted to, be more involved with my well, my grandbabies were born. So we had a pandemic baby. She was born in April of 2020. So it was like, we were just all together. It was just because you couldn't see anybody else. We didn't want the baby to get around anybody. It was
Well, and
really
it sounds like
scary.
you got to do the pandemic with,
Yeah.
your loved ones instead of separated, which a lot of people, like when they had grandbabies born during the pandemic, it meant they didn't get to see them at all.
Yeah.
And so that's a huge blessing that you
Yeah.
got to be there.
I can't imagine. Yeah, she didn't have any help. So that piece was really, really good. But I think the pandemic for me was a wake-up call in that what is really important? What if it is really the end of the world? What if everything's changed? What if I die from this and my children die? We didn't know at first, right? We didn't know what we were in for. We had the Spanish flu as a history lesson, and oh my goodness, look what happened. How many people died? There were people dying everywhere. We didn't know what was going to happen. So at that point, it's what do you want to do? What's important to you? And I think I lost my job, which was the biggest blessing. And then I said, what is it that I really care about? Because the things that I said I cared about, which were my health and spending time with my family and living a peaceful life and all those things, my actions weren't really doing that because I was
Yes.
working.
That's what I was going to point out. It's like we say we care about something, but then our actions really demonstrating what we say we care about.
Exactly. And that's where the shift came. The shift for me was, okay, this is good. I'm not working. I'm spending time with the baby. I'm getting healthy. I might be one of the few people who lost weight during the pandemic. I don't know. I got onto a workout program.
Probably most people sat home and ate munchies and yeah.
Right. And I had already quit alcohol, so I wasn't one of the ones sitting around getting, sloshed. So, it was a time though of asking myself, what do I want to do? What's important to me? And then when things did open up and I could have gone back to my traditional, 6-figure job with the bennies and all that, to the stress, to all of that, I said, you know what? I want to simplify my life. I want to focus on the things that are important to me. I want to be healthy. I want to be happy. Um, I want to be free to pop over and take care of the kids when she needs me. I want to be free to go down, walk on the beach. I want to be free. So that was a change for me. And when I started looking at what I could do, my healthcare background, what did I love about that job? I loved mentoring people. I love training people. I love building teams and, those things. So coaching was a pretty easy, fit.
I love that. I love that you were able to take because it's like we go into our lives, right? And we kind of get caught up. We get caught up in, for me it was motherhood, and for a lot of people it's career, and you kind of get into this should path, right? Here's where I should be going.
Yep.
And you follow that path, and at some point down the line you're like, why am I here again? How did I get here? Where did I feel like I disappeared somewhere along the way, and it was just about this thing. But usually there's a reason we got into that. I didn't become a mother by chance. It was a choice, and I wanted it, and I craved it. And even though I feel like I kind of lost myself somewhere along the way, how do I keep what I worked so hard on and
Right.
just focus on the good? And that's exactly what you did. Is you took all of this knowledge and this path that you chose for a reason. You chose it because you love people and you want to
Right.
help people. And so then you took what was good and what you loved and what lit you up,
Yeah.
what energized you from this career, and then turned it into something that would really, really light you up in every way. Eliminating the stressful parts, eliminating the parts that were, bureaucracy and things that were
Yes.
frustrating and that were away from what you really wanted. And so I think that's an amazing example to anybody who's like who came out of this pandemic like you and like me and said, what do I really want out of my life? Because today is my actual life. Like, this is it.
It's not a dress rehearsal.
Right? I actually have a sign that says, this is not a dress rehearsal. Like,
Yeah.
just live your life. Like,
Right.
be happy now. Choose that joy, because you can choose it. You can change how you feel. Like, do it now. Don't wait for some future day, because today is the day to be happy and live your life. And so I love your example of choosing that. And I hope that other people who are listening, who are wondering how to get out of that job, who are wondering how to change their lives in a meaningful way, can look at your example and be like, oh, I don't just have to abandon everything I've done for the last decade or whatever. I can find the good in that. I can take what I've learned from that and use it to move forward in a healthier, happier way.
Yeah, because it's never really lost knowledge, is it? I mean, anything that we experience, anything that we do, anything that we learn, you can't take that away from us. We've got that. And so you can say, well, you did all this and you're not fulfilling your career because you're not in this role anymore. You've wasted all that education, you've wasted all that experience. No, I still learned from it. I gained a ton, and I wouldn't be where I am and be as good of a coach as I am had I not had all that leadership experience and all that training and all those experiences. So finding something that you love is key, I guess. And I think stepping outside of your comfort zone, because that to me is the hard part. It's still hard. It's uncomfortable. I mean, I can't believe I'm on a podcast. I mean, what the heck, right? And we so often compare ourselves to others, and I'm not as good as her, or I'm not as good a speaker, or I should. But you know what? Every single person has a story, and they have an impact on somebody. My story might reach somebody that your story won't reach. And it's so cool that, you're young and I'm older. And I mean, it doesn't matter. We have the same vision in that we want to share the sunshine and we want people to find the happiness that we have found. And I'm happy when I see young people like yourself who are already seeking and looking. And, I have seen that over the past, 10 years when I first started, and I'm telling on myself, of course, but when I first started, the doctors, especially, everybody just was hardcore. You work a bunch of hours. There was no lifestyle balance for anybody. No, that wasn't even a term. It was just what you did. And by the time I left my healthcare roles, I had cardiac surgeons, that were very, very highly, with all kinds of accolades, who would say to me, I'm not taking more than 10 days a call because I want to be with my family. I have a young family. I'm like, good for you, which it wasn't good for business, but because we had to pay other people.
Business is not everything.
Right.
Like, what do we really want to put our attention into? Isn't it those we love? Isn't it our families? Isn't it our relationships and our own relationships with ourselves and our own joy? Isn't that where we really like what's actually bringing you joy? Put more effort into that.
Yeah.
And yes, it's important to pay the bills, but
right.
Well,
and I think I think that you hit on a really, really good point, because we get to a certain level in our lives and our own expectations. It doesn't even have to be keeping up with the Joneses. It's our own expectations that we should have a certain level car, a certain level house, a certain level of income, a certain level, we want these things. This is what we're used to. And making a change to get out of the rat race or to do something different, you have to make some sacrifices. I mean, it is what it is.
Oh, you're totally right.
Guys, I just wanted to pause here for 1 second to let you know about the awesome thing that I'm doing right now. I am so excited to announce that I'm offering a custom song experience for a small number of people. This is your chance to take your story, your podcast, or your business even, and turn it into an incredible, timeless work that will bring back beautiful, loving emotions for decades to come.
This is such a perfect gift for your spouse, for a newborn baby, or for a parent, and it's a really great way to embody your business or your podcast's mission. We're going to meet together several times and deep dive into the message and emotion you want to convey to make sure that you're getting something that you absolutely adore. A custom song is an incredible asset for advertising, for lifting team spirit, and for encapsulating family memories. If you are interested in a custom song, please email customsongs@karaleigh.com. One of the things I love that you've been talking about is looking back on all the times when maybe you weren't putting yourself first. You're not looking back with regret. You're looking back with an eye of just self-assured knowing, right? Where you're like, I learned. And because of everything I've been through and everything I've done, I know better now how to move forward with my life in a happier way.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be honest if I didn't say that I had regrets. And there are some pieces, what if I'd have left earlier? What if I'd have done this? What if? But you're right. I don't choose to focus on any of that. It doesn't serve me. And that's really kind of my new mantra, is that I don't want to hold on to anything that doesn't serve me, whether it's alcohol, whether it's a person, whether it's lifestyle, whether it's a job, whatever it is. If it's not good for me and it's not something that brings me joy, that I want to do, or that I need for my life, then why am I doing it?
That's awesome. I love that idea of, is this serving me? And asking ourselves that question about each area of our lives and how we can change without losing anything, with only gaining things. And it's not about not having regrets. It's totally about not focusing on them, because the past is the past and the past is over, and we can choose to learn from it and move on. And that's pretty much, or we can choose to, dwell on it, but we can't change it. We can't fix it. There's only forward.
Yeah. Well, and you think about all the things that you do to focus on the past. You either feel angry about it, and that hurts no one but you. You feel resentful, that hurts no one but you. I mean, any negative emotion that you put towards that past is energy wasted from you. It's not so that person. You're not, it's like drinking poison expecting that they're going to die. So it's not going to happen. It's killing you.
You're totally right. So tell me just some of the ways that you found sunshine in these different trials that you faced. So you had an abusive relationship for a very, very significant portion of your life. How, when you were in that, how did you continue to, go through each day? How did you find hope and self-worth and anything positive in those dark times?
Well, nothing is ever 100% or all bad or all good, right? And so there were, over the 25 years, there were certainly some good times. I was in a religious group that I was very strongly attached to and loved very much. And so I did rely on God for a lot of my strength. I think that, when I was able to, when I had my daughter, and there were good pieces within the overlying negative. I think for me, what helped me move forward was that I was outside the house and that I was working. So had I been not, luckily he wanted me to pay the bills. So, so as I moved forward in my career, I started to gain confidence, and I kept learning. And the more I gained confidence in myself, the more I realized that he couldn't be right. So he would, say, oh, you're this, you're blah, blah, blah. But yet I had 600 employees and my evaluations were great. And, so things started not adding up. And so it was a confidence builder that way. And
I
I
have to
think,
say, I love this. I love this perspective of like, okay, he made me pay the bills, which is such a negative thing. And it's such a like, I could totally see the manipulation in that and the abuse in that. And yet, how many people in the opposite, where he paid all the bills and he did all
yeah,
the things and she was a stay-at-home mom, and then it came time where she realized that this was bad and this was abusive and she didn't want to be there anymore. And how many women feel utterly powerless to
yeah,
leave a circumstance because they do not have a job or any way to pay bills. They don't have that self-confidence in themselves that you were able to build through your
yeah.
job. And so I love how you can look at that now and be like, that was actually a huge blessing.
It was indeed. I mean, it saved me. I really think that that was one of the biggest things, that was, that really, really helped me. And I think that being able to, start telling somebody, I think, silence and secretiveness is their key, is their power, because there's an embarrassment, there's a
Shame. It's
shame.
all about shame.
And if you are not going to leave the situation, you don't feel like you can leave the situation, how can you tell people how bad things are, but yet you're going to stay in it? So there's an embarrassment, there's a trap, all those things. And it wasn't until I reached that point where I was ready to do something about it, and I started telling a few people, and they were shocked. They had I mean, here I was in a high level position. And they were like, what? This is what's happening at home? No one would believe it. So it was, I guess I hit it pretty well. And I think people don't have any idea. I mean, it's not, there's such a stigma about it, but yet it's a lot of people are in all different levels of toxic relationships. It doesn't have to be, physical every day. It doesn't have to be the emotional. There's all different kinds. And we'd be shocked if we knew what everybody went home to every night.
Oh, it's so, so true. So true, which is why it's so important, this work that you do. And it's so important for each of us to communicate and tell our stories. Like, shame just makes us want to hide it all, but shame
Yeah.
cannot live in the light. I love Brene Brown. I've been reading
Yes, I
all of her
love Renee.
books. And it's so important to know that, like, when you share your story, that shame starts to disappear. When you, even if it's just privately between a friend, like somebody who's trusted, like that shame starts to disappear, and you start to learn more and grow more and communicate and build your self-confidence and all the things that you need to change your life to be happier and healthier.
Yeah, Brene Brown, did a podcast, and I was listening to it, and I had written my book, but I wasn't going to publish it. And she said, some of you have, you need to share your story. You need to own your story. You need to share it. She said, some of you have books sitting there that you don't share with the world. And I'm like, oh my God,
Oh, I
you know
feel
how you're
called out now.
yeah. Oh my God, she's talking to me. Brene Brown's talking to me, so so I worked on it and got it published. So
That's amazing. So tell us about your book. Tell us what it's called and how we can find it and what it's about.
yeah, so I don't know if you can see it, but it's called Finding Bliss Beyond the Buzz. Bliss Beyond the Buzz is my business. It's my coaching business. It's my group. And basically I came up with that because, to me, it's not just about alcohol. It's about the bliss after you get past all that mess and you start finding yourself and living your life. So my book goes through my abuse. It goes through my cancer journey. It goes through my mom's death, my sister's death. It goes through the alcohol. So, a lot of baggage, kind of gives you and then it goes from where I am today. And it talks about not only giving up alcohol, but giving up other things that don't serve you, and learning to accept yourself and be happy with your imperfections. We are all imperfect, and it is so difficult. Again, I say for women, it can be men too, but that we just, the pressures we put on ourselves to look a certain way, to be a certain way. We're supposed to be Susie Homemaker. We're supposed to be, the sexy one in the bed. We're supposed to have, be a career person, mom, super mom. We can't be everything. And then we're supposed to look a certain way. We're supposed to be, so it is about accepting yourself. I have a little formula in there that I use, and it's called pre-cans. And it's basically a check system for yourself that you look at those 7 areas of your life and just rate yourself. How are you doing in these areas? And if you focus on these 7 items, then you've got it. So it's your purpose or passion. Are you living your values like we talked about earlier? Rest and recovery. Are you being mindful, giving yourself a rest, mentally? Exercise, connection, alcohol free, of course, nutrition, and then sleep. So those 7 things, I mean, those are the pillars of a healthy life. And if you
And
can kind of,
I love those because they're all about self-care. Like
yes,
they are all about caring for your body, which is something that so many of us neglect to do, and caring for your mind. And I love those.
yeah, and so that's really what it is. It's kind of my story, my journey from there to here. It says from alcohol and abuse to sobriety and serenity. So
Oh, that's an amazing subtitle. I love that. Sobriety to serenity. That's really, really beautiful. Thank you so much for everything that you've shared today. Where else can we find you? Where can we find your book and your information for your coaching and all the social media places? Where can we
yeah,
find you?
my book is on Amazon. It's actually in all the bookstores. And if you can remember Bliss Beyond the Buzz, then you can find me. That's my website. That's my Facebook page. That's my Instagram, everything Bliss Beyond the Buzz. Every Sunday, I do a Facebook Live. It's been over a year now. I do a Facebook Live, and we talk about these kind of things. It's about taking care of yourself and not letting people push you around, and put yourself first, and do the things that are good for you. Because, if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to have anything to give.
That is so true. It is so, so true. I love that. So, as we wrap up, do you have any final words of wisdom for us?
I think the takeaway for anyone listening who is suffering in a toxic relationship, whether it's alcohol or a person or a job or anything else, find a way. Don't wait. Don't waste 25 years. Don't waste another minute. Find a way to get that out of your life, or fill your life with other positives to at least negate the negative. Don't just say and stuff and suffer in it.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. Take control of your life because this is your life. This is your
That's it.
chance. This is it. There's no second chances on this one. This is
That's it.
today, take today and run with it. I love that so much. Thank you for everything that you have shared today. Your story is so inspiring, especially because you didn't just like have one hard thing and then go on to like be amazing. You had so many different like trials that people can relate to. I mean, with your abusive relationship that lasted for so long, and then cancer, and then alcoholism, and like just like how many different bumps in your roller coaster there were that were incredibly difficult, that you picked yourself back up from over and over and over again, and you learned how to be better with each one, right? I think
Yeah.
that's like so amazing and inspiring. And then also just like a lot of times we feel like, oh, it was just a lot of people who have come really far and done really amazing things. They had this like little trial and it was like hard for a little time, but you had 25 years of struggle and suffering, and then more after that in other ways. And you still were able to take from all of that and turn it into beauty and light.
I feel very grateful. I really do. So, and thank you for having me. I love what you do. I love your show and your song, and I wish you just so much happiness.
Thank you so much. And your wisdom really is so beautiful and so helpful to everybody. So thank you for coming on today. I hope that you have an incredible day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
See, was that not just such a great episode? I'm so happy that I got to meet Janet and have her on this podcast. It was such an honor to get to meet her and to get to talk to her. And it was so hard to narrow it down to only 7 takeaways, but here are my very, very favorite little snippets that came out of this episode. Number 1, the joy is found in the comparison. When you know how the darkness really feels, then it's easier to really enjoy the light. Number 2, we only get this one life. I didn't live my best life for all that time, and I don't have a minute to waste. Number 3, I know how dangerous it is to not care for our bodies and how much it compromises how we're able to care for those we love when we aren't first taking care of our own minds and our own stress level and our own bodies and our own physical wellness. Number 4, happiness does not live in busy. Happiness does not live in the accolades and the doing and the shoulds. Happiness lives in the peace and the quiet. Happiness lives in doing what you can handle and not going overboard. It's all about boundaries, guys. Number 5, what do I really want out of my life? Because today is my actual life. Like, this is it. This is not a dress rehearsal. Just live your life. Be happy now. Choose that joy. Do it now. Don't wait for some future day, because today is the day. Number 6, it's never really lost knowledge, is it? Anything that we experience, anything that we do, anything that we learn, you can't take that away from us. We've got that. And number 7, put yourself first and do the things that are good for you, because if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to have anything to give. Bam! Those are such great quotes. This episode blew my mind. So in love with it. So just enamored with Janet White. She's so incredible. You have to go check out her book. It is called Bliss Beyond the Buzz. It's on Amazon. It's also where all books are sold. Go find it. Go read it. It's incredible. Also, make sure you go find her on social media. She's Bliss Beyond the Buzz on all social platforms. It's also her coaching business. Go find her. Go follow her. It will be worth it. Last but not least, make sure you check out my website, KaraleigHgarrison.com. And if you are interested in a custom song, email customsongs@KaraleigHgarrison.com if that is something that you're interested in. I hope you guys have such an amazing day. Oh, and last but not least, if you felt inspired by this episode, I definitely did. Please share this with somebody, because I know that it will light up somebody's day. And I will leave you with a song. Have an amazing day. Bye.
There are times when life just brings you down, 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 down to the ground. And it's hard when you can't see the light, 'cause things don't look so bright. So now it's time to reframe and retrain your brain. It's time to look for the good. You know that you should. Why don't you join me? 'Cause I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. Oh, oh, oh. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. Don't you know? I'm not gonna let the bad come on and make it sad, no matter what comes my way. No, I have, babe. 'Cause I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. Oh, oh, oh. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. Yeah, babe. Sunshine. I'm seeking, I'm seeking, I'm seeking, I'm seeking, I'm seeking sunshine. 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 Sunshine. I'm seeking, I'm sunshine. I'm seeking, I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. Yeah, babe. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking, I'm seeking, I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking, I'm seeking, I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking, I'm seeking sunshine. Give me some sunshine.